it was a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde performance from us. I do think, despite where the scoreline ended up, we had some really positive moments. We played a good 20 minutes of really high-level offense, maybe 30 minutes of high-level offense where we were taking advantage of some of their showing. We were moving the ball pretty good. When they switched, we were able to put in the post, and for a long time, our field goal percentage was good. It was very good, especially for this environment, playing against an elite team. And, they were very good. Wisconsin is a very good basketball team. I know I was at Florida last year. They are a team that can advance far in the NCAA tournament. I firmly believe that. I knew that going into today. I think today showed that even more. Where we need to grow as a basketball program is we got to finish better. We got to finish better. I was a little disappointed with where the ultimate margin, where the ultimate score line went to. And some of that's human nature. I think our guys were competing. They really wanted it badly, and the realization that the game had suddenly kind of got out of reach kind of hit them, and we just didn't respond to it the right way, okay? But give all the credit to Wisconsin. They're a great team, a team that I expect to be awesome in the Big Ten Conference and be able to play second weekend, potentially beyond. They got all the stuff you look for. They got a lot of shooting, they got a lot of skill. They play together as a group. And one thing, I don't even know if Coach Gard heard it or not, but I heard one of their players, with about a minute 20 left in the game, say, hey, 9 turnovers, all right? Take care of the ball. And that's culture, that's program. Like, it was important to them to not turn it over one more time. And they didn't. They finished the game on 9 turnovers. So credit to them, they're doing the right things, and I would be very optimistic about that.
Thank you. Questions for Coach? John, right up front, please.
Early in that last 8 minute stretch, kind of quite the performance from John Blackwell. Kind of what makes him so difficult to defend?
Yeah, there's a lot to it. He's a very good athlete, so you're nervous about pressuring up into him too much because he's got burst and athleticism and get behind you, get on the rim. But at the same time, if you just gap him, he can really shoot too. So it puts you in a bind. He's a two-way threat that way. And then I think the way the coaching staff uses them, the patterns that they use, the motion that they use, it's hard to guard. It really is.
Question?
DJ Smith, I think 23 points, guys played in the NCAA tournament. What did it mean for y'all to get him after you got this job, and just what's he kind of done for y'all in the preseason getting ready for this season?
Yeah, I'm excited about DJ. I really am. He's been one of our best guys throughout our scrimmages, throughout practice. I think he's a guy who can be a bit of a matchup threat in the CAA conference because he can really shoot the ball. He's also quick and hard to keep in front. So we'll keep getting better. This was a little bit of a knock to the chin today, but we'll cut up the film. We'll look at all the positive things that we did do. We'll identify a couple areas where we could be a little better, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's one thing I know about the college basketball season. Progress is the most important thing. If we get better between now and the end of March, everything we want to do, everything we want to accomplish is certainly possible.
Michael?
Going back to John Blackwell, the difference in the look that he and Nick Boyd presented to the defenders at the top of your defense, I guess, what difficulties do kind of those change in tempos and the difference of playing style present to your defense?
Yeah, no, they're tough to play against. They can kind of crawl up under you and eat you up and make it hard. We tried to really emphasize moving the ball and just trying to keep them on a run. And I think for moments in the game that we were able to do that. I think there's a good little 8-10 minute stretch between the end of the first half through the beginning of the second half where we were doing it. But when the ball stagnates, then their athleticism, their ability to move side to side, their strength really shows itself, and it was hard for us to create advantages and score on 1-1.
Nick up front.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about kind of taking advantage of some of the way they were shown that Wisconsin was in the first half. In kind of that extended run late in the second half defensively, did you see anything different, or did you just feel like it's a little bit maybe less execution?
No, they locked in. They did what good teams do. That's why I would be very optimistic about this Badger team. Is like we were able to kind of chip into it. I think we got it to maybe 67, 62 or something. And it was that kind of a big moment of like, all right, what is this game gonna become? Is it gonna become sort of this tight, nerdy game that goes back and forth? And it didn't become that. They kind of put their foot on the gas and clamped down defensively. They started pressuring us really hard. We were having a hard time just moving the ball. And we gave into it. There's some stuff we can control a little better to win. If I'm a Badger coach, I'm pleased with how they responded to that moment.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
You mentioned rebounding was something kind of on your mind with you transitioning to center, 17-11 last game, 17-12 today. Just overall, how have you seen yourself grow to being more physical and on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's more of a mentality than anything it is physically or anything like that. You know, when I have that aggressive mentality, of just attacking every ball, going to get everyone that I can. You know, this offseason was a big thing for me, knowing that going into this season, that's going to be a big part of my game is rebounding and limiting them to one shot. So for me to go out there and, you know, execute a little bit, you know, I got to continue to do that for this team. But yeah, I mean, it's more of a mentality thing, like I said.
Yeah, for John and Nick, you know, Campbell's coach was just in here and he said, obviously, it was tight, 5-7 point game with like 7 minutes left. And he saw kind of your group just really kind of lock in, and obviously that helped extend the lead defensively. How did you guys see that kind of defensive effort increase, and how was that so key late for you guys?
I think we have a mature group that know when to lock in and just get stopped. Like it's winning time now. You know, Nick's been in situations, I've been in situations. Most of our guys have been in high pressure situations, so I think we did that really well, and we're only going to get better from it.
Yeah, I mean, first game, man, so, you know, it's a lot of ups and downs in that first game, so just getting our feet wet, and staying together. I mean, I think we're starting to ramp it up in terms of practice too, just on the defensive end, so just kind of reverting back to some of the things we learned throughout the last couple of weeks, and just sticking together, so I was really impressed with it.
Michael?
Nick and Jeff, if you could both answer this. You guys both attack defense in pretty different ways on the offensive end. I guess, how do you help each other with the different looks you provide on the offensive end?
Man, I'll probably just say, I mean, there's sometimes like, I just get in the paint and the paint is collapsing. He's just wide open, so because we can get downhill so dynamically, it allows us to have, you know, just open looks, man. So his pressure on the rim opens it up for me, and I think my pressure, allowed me to get some threes off. So that's what I'm looking to do, and I mean, it just takes a load off myself to do everything. So I'm glad that I'm in that court.
Yeah, I think we both just don't think nobody can guard us. So, you know, we're trying to get down there every play, every possession. And, I mean, it works. You know, you get down here, you touch the paint, and then guys are open because they have to come, you know, try to help it block a shot.
Jim?
John, where do you think your game's come the most since last season? Like, where have you shown your most growth, do you think?
I think mentally, I think just staying locked in the whole game and just, you know, being more mature throughout the games. I think that's the biggest jump for me mentally from my freshman year, sophomore year. You know, I'm young and I'm an upperclassman, so mentally just being better every single day for myself and definitely for my teammates and coaches.
John?
John, that 29-2 run, I think you had like 8 of the first 11 points for you guys. Kind of what was starting to click for you that maybe wasn't quite at the same level before that?
I think just, you know, saw a couple go in and just did what I do best, just try to go score and try to go help my team.
John, you're 6 of 11 on threes tonight. I'm just wondering, what did you do during the offseason to kind of work on that part of your game? What was your shooting routine like?
Just locked in more on my shot. I think from freshman year to sophomore year, I got more threes up. So just for my freshman year, just being more like locked in on every single shot, and then, you know, taking good ones. You know, 10 toes down, getting those up, and rather than step backs, and you know, obviously it's late shot clock. I gotta take some of those, but you know, just focusing more on my mechanics and getting my shot right.
Michael?
You guys put up 96 points, and it didn't even seem like for stretches the offense was playing to its full potential. I guess, what does that say at this stage of the season?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about this group. You know, like you said, there were definitely some stretches where, you know, we looked a little lost out there. And it's the first game of the season, you know, it's not gonna be perfect, it's not gonna be, you know, smooth sailing out there. So, for us to kind of see a little adversity and fight through it and still put up 96 points, I think it shows a lot about what this group can be and is. Just kind of shows the firepower that we have on the offensive side.
Say one more. Jim Poe, go ahead, please.
Well, you know, John, probably as well as anybody, where have you seen him kind of take off since the last season? Have you seen a different mindset from him?
For sure. I think like he said, his mindset and his leadership role that he kind of came into throughout this offseason, what he really worked on, and, you know, being out there, being a leader for the team. I think as a team, as the returners, you can really see that he took a huge step for us in that role. That's huge to have someone like John out there, and Nick too, you know, older. It's crazy I'm calling John Blackwell older right now. Growing up with him, I still remember being a Smith Hall with him, but, you know, just to have him out there and his mindset's taken a huge leap mentally, and, you know, that's huge for the squad.
Okay, thanks, fellas, appreciate it.
Thank you. No, thanks, Dave. Obviously, a lot that we'll take from the game, both good and things that we have to get immensely better at. But I was happy with how we closed, specifically defensively there in the last 7-8 minutes to hold them to just 4 free throws. You know, I think this group is continuing. It's obvious. I say we have, at times we have water in our gas tank. Meaning we sputter, and then we catch fire, and then we sputter, and that's both ends of the court. You know, we really show some good things defensively, and then we don't, and the same thing offensively. But just, I think how we closed the game was, I saw more consistency. I think, you know, I'm still learning lineups and combinations and those things, but I thought Garlock gave us some good minutes. I thought Brody was terrific in terms of the closing of the game there in the last 7-8 minutes defensively. Janicki, I thought, gave us a real boost and some juice in the first half. And yeah, obviously Blackwell was, you know, the numbers speak for themselves, and Nolan Winter again, you know, it's another double-double. So I think this group has continued to try to find out who they are and be different guys, different nights. But there's a lot of good things we'll draw from it. How to close the first half is not one of them. We'll have that on film, I'm sure, but you know, give Campbell and that kid credit for making a play up the floor. So game 1, and then we absorb this and get ready for next.
Questions for Coach? Nick?
Coach, you talked about that last 7 or 8 minutes. I know your players mentioned it too, but just that defensive intensity that seemed to increase at that moment. What did you like about that, and how sustainable can that be with the group you close with?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, every time we get reps and every time we get game reps and experience, it's something we have to build upon in a positive way. So everything is a learning opportunity. So we talked about at halftime when you can't let the ball get to the rim. So they're like 13 of their 16 field goals, or 13 of 16 were at the rim or in our paint. So, you know, couple pull-ups, but it was either a mistake on the perimeter or not rotating and taking the ball on with our back line. So I thought the second half we were a little better with that at times. And then down the stretch we adjusted some things on, instead of switching with 1 through 4, we went to just stick and stay with our man. That closed those things up, and they couldn't take advantage as well of the you know, their 4 on our guards trying to post, and it helped clean up some of the defensive rebounding.
Jonathan?
With that 29-2 run, it felt like that first 15 that you guys got off, that was pretty quick. Kind of, what did you see as maybe kind of the spark to getting that run that kind of obviously separated things there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Blackwell got going a little bit. I thought getting to the free throw line was important. You know, we shot 19 again, so you know, we have to have more guys being able to drive the ball, especially against that pressure that we saw. They're not going to allow the ball to get reversed. The gaps were so big. But we got to drive it and draw the fouls and then convert. You know, we had guys make shots. So we got going in transition. Obviously Boyd is a jet, and he gets open court in front of him. run to stay with him, so he has some help, but, just a lot of good, obviously, Rapp made a three there. You know, we shared the ball well too, they moved two of those possessions, the ball made it around the horn a couple times, and then Blackwell drove baseline, hit Winter coming to the rim, so that's when they started to get in sync, and we're just not completely in sync all the time.
Michael?
How do you feel Nick and John complement each other with the different ways they attack defense and offensively?
Offensively, yeah, I mean, they're different, obviously. Nick, I think, is continuing to learn how to manage a game and when he can play at a higher pace and when it's time to, you know, just the yin and yang he doesn't quite get yet or doesn't have. And part of that's game management, and I think that's, sometimes he's just one speed, and that's a very dangerous speed. It can be dangerous both ways, you know. I mean, he threw that one pass that started our turnover barrage in the second half. I told the radio guys it was like a prime Clayton Kershaw fastball, and I don't think Johnny Bench could have caught that thing. I mean, it whistled. So it's just those things that, you know, is things that he needs to continue to clean up, because that becomes contagious. And we turned the ball over three more possessions in a row right after that one. So that's what I talked to him about. Like, hey, you can't start that. You know, start the good things, don't start the things. So, and that was playing too fast at that point in time. So and Blackwell is just, he's such a good, his moxie, his ability to, he never gets too high, never gets too low. He's talking to me on the sideline when he's seeing, he just calm and just has a very mature approach and viewpoint, sees the game really well. I think the game comes really easy to him. With really good players, it does, it slows down, and it's really kind of sees it in slow motion. And just things he talks about, like I said, on the sideline, or when he walks over by me, points out a few things, and it's always, he's just steady. And there's never too high, never too low. It's just working on what's next.
Coach, 48 points in the first half, but you guys went in 3 as well. How'd you like just the overall shot selection and maybe some of those aren't falling? Do you feel like the tempo also kind of produced to some of those offensive?
Yeah, I think we got some defense. You know, Janicki got us going a couple deflections. Brody was active too. Yeah, I thought shot selection, I'll go through it. I don't have anyone that really jumps out as really bad. I thought the shot discipline was pretty good, but at the same time, I want them aggressive. And so I'll search through and evaluate each shot, but I thought it was the defensive end, you know, there with the ball getting to our rim, and then obviously the 4-point play at the end of the half.
Right in front of your coach.
When you have a group like this where you know you're connecting some pieces defensively, and even sometimes there were some of these defensive miscues between even guys like Blackwell and Janicki who have had that experience playing together. I mean, what is the connected piece bringing even some of those vets together with all the different moving pieces around them?
Well, I think the first part is they all have to understand the hows and whys of how we play defensively, so the rules that go into place. Not only at the point of attack, but what's involved with the ball. You know, simple ball pressure is a great way that's the first place to start. And even if we're switching ball screens, the ball pressure has to maintain the same level of intensity. And then it's all the rotations and the second line of defense, how we built in our insurance policy, so to speak, and our gap presence. You know, they're still learning. They know when they're not in the gap, but by the time they know it, it's too late. The ball's gone by them. You know, I think our veterans, our guys that have been here, are usually in the right position more often than not. I catch Rhodey in the right position more often than not, and the rest we're still trying to get in the right position all the time.
Go ahead, Jim.
Greg, John's always seemed like a pretty driven guy since he stepped foot on campus. Have you seen that go to another level now that he's kind of the guy?
Yeah, I think that comes with the maturity, and it comes with I think the pre-draft experience was good for him last year. It showed him how good he can be, and it also showed him he's not good enough yet, and he's hungry. I mean, he's very driven, he's very humble. I mean, you wouldn't know, by being around him that he's this type of player, because he carries himself in a very humble way. But yeah, he's put time in, he's changed his body, and his confidence is really, like I said, his steadiness is, he's always been very steady, but I've noticed even more this year. That's just, he's confident because he's put in the work, and he knows he's a good player, and now it's just go prove it and help lead our team every night.
Coach, Winter and Rep seems like they had it going tonight. How do you feel they complement each other?
Well, it's two bigs that can stretch the floor. I think defensively, Aussie's got to continue to get better at specifically some of the off-ball stuff. There's positioning things, but from an offensive standpoint, I think they both have really good feels for the game. And Aussie appears to be a gamer. From the time I've been around him, like lights go on and it goes to another level. And he's still learning how important taking care of the ball is here, how important defense is here, how important physical defensive rebounding is here. And I told him from the beginning, this is going to be a jump. I mean, it's going to be deeper water than what he's been in. So I think for him, and Nolan's just, he's got so much talent. You can see it at how he moves and floats around the floor. And I want him to be more. I mean, he gets 12 rebounds and right, he had 12, yeah. And there was probably 5 more I thought he could have had. So for him, it's a mindset and just a demeanor to dominate. And you could say, all right, coach, he had 17 and 12. What's not dominating about that? But I just want his body language, his approach, his mindset. I want him to have the same mindset Blackwell's had. When he steps on the floor, he's the best guy at 7 feet that's out there, and show it every night.
Okay, 2 more questions for Coach. Go right here and then John.
Greg, you talked about protecting the paint and staying aggressive at the rim. What do you think you guys can tighten up the physicality from what you saw tonight?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's that off-ball positioning. And I saw the first half paint makes at halftime. I haven't seen the second half yet. But the first half, some of them were just complete mistakes of, we jumped around, we got out of position, the ball screen get refused. There was 3 buckets. And then there was probably 2 or 3 more where we got beat off the dribble, or we didn't have gap balls coming at us, and our gap presence lets the ball right behind, and we're sinking in the gap enough. And then that third layer, or that back layer of defense with our bigs, typically it's your bigs, it's not always your bigs, but rotating over and challenging and taking on the ball. We came over and we kind of avoided it a few times. So we'll see what that looks like on film and show, how much more aggressive and proactive we need to be with that rotation. We can't get beat off the pounds like that, and that's correctable just on simple follow our rules. The ball's straight, don't get refused, and don't jump around. And we got a little antsy, I thought at times, and got burnt because of it, which is good. It's a good teaching moment for us. I'll show them when they're up in the air, spinning around while the ball's getting dribbled by. That's why we say 90% of the game is played with your feet on the floor. And it's hard to move when you're up in the air when the ball's getting dribbled by you. So little things that if we continue to clean those things up, we'll become a better defensive team.
John, final question.
Your counterpart at Campbell is really complimentary of this group. A team that can win in the postseason. Talked about kind of the team's culture where they're still saying 9 turnovers, kind of even at the end. Kind of, what does it mean to hear that from a coach who obviously has been part of some winning programs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Andy was part of Florida's run last year and been a part of that, so he understands and knows what championship level teams look like, and he mentioned that to me in the handshake line, just, we've got a lot of really good pieces, and we're pretty complete when all those pieces are jiving together. We got a long ways to go. We got so many things we gotta get better at. As I said before, I mean, everyone on the outside is excited about what this team is. I'm excited about what this team isn't, meaning there's a lot of things we can get better at, and if we do that, then it gives us, a chance to have a good year. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.